Hello everyone, it's me, Mad Diplo, and I just watched, well, not just watched, but I watched a few days ago. I watched Godzilla minus one in the IMAX in my local AMC, the early release. It was great. My theater was really loud. Like, my eardrums were bursting with every Godzilla roar, but it was so worth it. The movie itself, it was great. The visual effects were actually for a $15 million budget. It was great. I loved it. Um, in specifically the water scene, where the first Godzilla like fully grown attack. He looked real. It looks like a real prop, and I still can't get over how good it looked. It just looked amazing. I know I'm going like straight into it, like not even like an introduction, but I'm just hyped up. I'm recording this currently on the 29th, right after watching a movie, so everything is fresh in my mind. Currently, I'm just hanging up the Godzilla minus one posters I got from the theater, because my theater had Godzilla minus one IMAX posters, and they look beautiful, and I'm hanging them up all around my room. But this video isn't about posters; it's about the movie. So, my current thoughts on the movie: the characters were great. I actually cared for them. Godzilla felt like a scary. Honestly, he wasn't like scary, but he felt like a benevolent a big guy, something. He felt like a threat. I didn't want the characters to die, and that's the problem with these new movies where you don't care about the characters. The only character I cared about was Walter White from the first movie in 2014, and that's it. And Gia, I guess I kind of cared about her. I didn't want her to die, but overall the characters, I forgot their names. The only one I remember is no Nomiko, and uh I can't Mr. Tabachi or something. I think that was his name. But this video is very unscripted. I didn't have time to script a video. This is just my spoiler review. And I think I'm gonna review the movie by order and scenes. So the first scene, during the almost end of the war, when they go to Oda Island, and the main character, he pretends his plane is faulty, but it isn't. And I love the character's character arc. He ends up being a coward in the beginning, and then by the end of the movie in 1946, when he's about to kill Godzilla, he he sacrifices. He doesn't actually die. That's a spoiler. He doesn't actually die. So basically, it was honestly, I predicted it. Well, I predicted it while watching the movie. Mr. Tabachi, he said, well, he was showing the main character the plane, that the new one, that he installed something, and we don't know what it is because it cuts off. So when the main character sacrifices himself, and he turns out having a parachute, and he didn't actually die. It was actually a pretty good little twist. Not a twist, just a little like moment in the movie. I actually really liked it, even though I kind of catched on to it because earlier in the movie, when they were making the plan to defeat Godzilla, one of the scientists, the main scientist guy, I forgot his name, but he said that during the war, Japan didn't make any parachutes or ejection buttons for their planes, and I kind of put that together. I kept that in my mind, and maybe this is important. So when Mr. Tabachi, or I forgot his name, whatever his name was, when Mr. Tabachi showed the main character that part of the plane, I was like, oh, that's definitely a parachute. So he could save himself when he kamikazes into Godzilla. So I thought that was a really good moment, and it actually completed his character arc because throughout the movie, he's contemplating if he wants to live, if he deserved to live, and now he knows he should live because Mr. Tabachi himself, the guy that hated him the entire movie, because in the beginning, the Godzillasaurus, or that's what I just want to call it because it's just basically like a dinosaur Godzilla. In the beginning, it kills all of the mechanics on Odo Island because the main character didn't shoot it with his guns or with his 20 millimeter guns on his uh jet, or not jet, plane. So that actually it makes a lot of sense, and Mr. Tabachi himself tells him to live. I thought the movie, the characters in the movie, the five main ones, Mr. Tabachi, the main character, the kid, his three friends, or his two other friends on the boat. I forgot their names. They were from the Navy, and Namiko and yeah, I already said that one. They were all good. All throughout the movie, I wanted them to live. I wanted them to not die. And this is the first time in never, and this is the first time in like all my life that I wanted Godzilla to die. It was the first movie that actually made Godzilla villainized that so badly that I wanted him to die. And it's great. When I first felt it, I was like, oh, I hate this. What did I just say? I was actually shocked that I actually thought that. And no other movie's done that before to me. Godzilla GMK didn't. 54. I love 54, so like I couldn't. But no other Godzilla movie did that. So I'm just shocked that it actually happened, and it actually made me want to make Godzilla die. And I burned my Bandai figure. No, I'm joking. But oh, I'm so happy with the results of this movie. Now, a few problems I have with this movie is some parts are a little over dramatic. I feel the part where he starts the main character, I forgot which part it's actually at, but when he starts going insane, like it's a really intense moment. But then there's like this, I forgot there was music over it, but there's just like crazy music, and I felt like it didn't really fit in. Was it that part? I don't really remember, honestly. It's still fresh in my mind, but I don't remember. But yeah, some parts are a little dramatic, like, but the part where his Namiko dies, or you think she dies, somehow she survives. That's another thing. I didn't like the ending. Godzilla is alive, which felt like it was kind of weird. Like, yeah, we already know he's gonna be alive, but maybe don't show it, because it will just make everything like that the characters did kind of meaningless. Like to me at least, that's my opinion. But I felt the ending where it's revealed that Namiko is alive. I feel like it kind of ruined the whole point of the movie. Like he was fighting Godzilla for her, and then she's just alive. I don't know. Felt kind of weird to me. This is a little nitpick. Honestly, there wasn't a lot of bad things about it. There wasn't a lot. And I'm happy about that. And I'm happy that this movie is a good movie, not just a good Godzilla movie. And that just makes me happy that finally Godzilla isn't looked down upon as a big lumbering lizard, and more of as an actual movie. And I'm happy about that. And overall, this movie's directed really well. Like, Takashi Yamazaki did such a good job with his job, and he did his job well. That made sense, yeah. And I do have to admit, in some parts, the CGI is kind of wonky. It's kind of off in a few areas. Like the part where Godzilla appears in the final battle and like that green farmland. Like when Godzilla stepped around, these trees did not shake. It looks like they removed the background of an actual photo and just placed Godzilla in the background. It looked kind of off to me. I noticed that because my theater had a huge screen. The screen was like a million meters long, and also the speakers broke my eardrums every time Godzilla roared. But that's what I loved about it. When Godzilla roars, at least I don't know if that's like, because I noticed that they like really over aggressified the roar. That's not a word. Don't say that. They really aggressified the roar, and when he roared in my theater, it sounded inaudible. Like it was like, and when you hear something loud, it's like that grainy noise, and that's all I heard with a bit of Godzilla. It was so good. It felt like I was actually there, and every explosion, every footstep actually felt real. Like my seat shook. I don't know if that's part of the movie theater, but it was so good. And that's what I love about this movie. The size. Godzilla had size. Even when he was small, he had size. And he was scary. Again, not to me he was scary. He felt like a threat. And Godzilla was awesome, by the way. And again, I didn't want the characters to die. That's how good it was. It's the first Godzilla movie where I was like, please don't die. It felt like I was watching The Walking Dead all over again, where I didn't want any of the characters to die. And honestly, sadly, they didn't die. No one died. Namiko turned out to be alive, which kind of sucks. But that's my only nitpick. None of the main characters died, which I'm glad. But at the same time, like, they could have died and added more motivation to the character, the main character, and other characters too. And I felt like the final battle where the kid comes and saves them by pulling Godzilla up with their boats. It felt kind of like an Avengers Endgame moment. It felt kind of generic, but it was a good moment. I smiled on that moment. I was like, oh, let's go. But yeah. And I know this review is really lazy, but I just wanted to put my thoughts out in my review because it's still fresh in my mind, and I'm gonna watch it a second time. Don't know how, but I'm going to. And when it comes out on Prime Video, I'm watching it. I'm buying it. But man, I just loved the movie. I've said that so many times, but I loved the movie. And the CGI felt off in some places. Like the water scenes is where he stood out the most. Not in like a bad way, like a good way. Is where the water scenes is where Godzilla looked the most realistic, but on the land scenes he looked kind of off. It's kind of like in Godzilla 2000 where when they used the green screen it looked weird. This is what's happening here, except it's not. It's just a CGI in general. Again on the grass, and when he's on the grass, none of the trees shook, and it looks like he was green screened in. I'm being honest, he didn't. He looked kind of off. And sometimes when he stepped on things, it kind of looked like he was just floating above it. Like he wasn't really stepping on it. He was just floating above it. But that's another thing. In the city attack in Ginza, the Ginza district. There he felt like he was actually stepping on things because like the ground shook, the buildings got destroyed. Like built in the. Oh, I wanted to mention this other thing. I felt like I was in 1954 watching the original Godzilla. I know that might not make sense, but it felt like I was back in 1954 because there's this little nod to the original 1954 movie with the news reporters on the building with God, and they're like describing what's happening. I don't know if you guys seen that moment in the 54 movie where Godzilla, it's like the fires in the background, Godzilla's raising his head and the news reporters are talking about it. And it was like, it sounded like the same voice, the same like, it sounded like audio from the 50s, and especially on the radios, it sounded like it was audio from the 50s, and it just sounded so realistic. I felt like I was I felt like an audience member from the original Godzilla 1954 movie, and that's what I love about this movie. It was a perfect reimagining of the original, and I think it's better than the original by a little bit. And honestly, I don't want to be one of those people that just say the original is the best because it's the original. Like, yes, it's a really good movie. Yes, it's written really well. But I feel like -1 does better in characters, and that I think that's kind of it. It does better in characters, but I feel like 54 had a better ending. 54 had more closure. It felt like it was actually an ending, and the -1 ending, it was okay, but it felt like it should be like a part 1 of a movie, kind of like how Spider-Verse was, and I didn't really like that. At least in my opinion. You guys may like that, but I don't know. It's me. And I wanted to talk about the music. The music. I was thinking about what I would say in my review during the theater, but when I was watching in the theater, but I just couldn't focus. It was so good. The music. So in the Ginza district attack, when Godzilla surfaces on land, it plays the original Godzilla theme. I think it was like from 1962. I don't remember, but it could have been from either other Godzilla movie. But it played for like a little bit while Godzilla was attacking. And what I didn't like was when it was like a serious moment when when Namiko was like, "Is that Godzilla?" Like the original upbeat and like crazy Godzilla theme was playing in the background. It didn't really fit in. Like it should have been some more dramatic music and then a transition to the Godzilla theme. but it felt like the Godzilla theme played, and then it transitioned to like the dark and grooming Godzilla minus one theme, and it was such a good transition. Like it was like the original classic theme to the dark and ominous minus one theme, and it was so good. Like I actually got chills when that happened. And then in the final battle, it played more 62 because it was the Godzilla vs Kong motif. I heard it, and man, I loved it so much. The final battle was really good. It was so unique as well. This strategy to killing Godzilla was so unique. I never thought of it like that. Using pressure and water pressure to kill Godzilla and implode him. That's like an idea I never even thought could happen to Godzilla, and it worked so well. And again, I don't know how balloons kind of lifted Godzilla. He's like 20,000 tons, but ignore that. It's a fiction movie. But even if it is fiction, it feels really grounded. Of course, excluding the monster, the big 20,000 ton monster on land. But again, the movie was really grounded in real life, and it felt real. It felt like I was in 1946 watching like a big monster appear and kill everyone. But the Godzilla theme, the music, the Godzilla main theme. It's like the one you heard in the teaser. That's his theme. It's so good. It felt so. Every time Godzilla appeared and it would play like that dramatic, foreboding Godzilla theme. I don't know if that's his like main theme. It could be. I don't really know, but all of the music. Like this is like this might sound like a bad thing, but all of it like kind of repeated in the movie. Like I don't hear any like new tracks. I just heard the same ones playing over and over again, and that might sound, oh, that's repetitive. Oh, that's bad. There's not a lot of music, but it's a good thing. It adds it makes you remember it. So like when it plays, they're like, oh no, Godzilla's here, and again, you could say the same thing with the original Akira Ifukube Godzilla theme, and that's what makes it so good. And overall, the music, I didn't hear a lot of like music. It was all suspense, and like those suspense tracks that you hear in like horror movies. It works so well, and it was so dramatic, and it was amazing. I might even use it in my own movies. That's how good it was. And off the topic of music, this is the final part. Godzilla himself. I know I talked about him being, scary and terrifying, but I didn't talk about how he works. In the movie, this is what makes him actually a threat. So one of the main character, the boat throws the taken mine from the ocean into Godzilla's mouth. They throw it into his mouth, and for some reason he just eats it. I don't know why, but he does like a little Jaws moment. He shoots the mine, it blows up in Godzilla's mouth, and then Godzilla heals. It's crazy. It's fast too. And the last time we saw an actually healing factor was from Godzilla 2000 with the G factor. I forgot what it's called, the G cells. But yes, we've heard Godzilla heal. Yes, we know Godzilla can heal, but not at like on screen in that fast. Like it looks like Orga all over again. It was like an actually dreading moment. I was like, oh my, Godzilla, that's why he's all those scars? Godzilla gets destroyed that fast? Jeez. And I saw him heal and I was like, oh my god, Godzilla. It was so crazy. Seeing that in theaters was the most insane experience. In my theater, off the topic of the movie itself, my theater, they were really good. Since I went to the early access fan event, everyone there was a Godzilla fan. Everyone had Godzilla shirts. I was the only one that brought my Godzilla figure. I brought the -1 with me. But, everyone was clapping and cheering, but honestly, the theater was silent, and they even laughed. Like, it sounded like those laugh tracks you hear in those sitcoms. It was kind of funny, I'm being honest. Like, the movie wasn't funny, and then he started laughing, but, it sounded like a sitcom during the movie, but it was fun to watch. I was with my dad. He enjoyed it. I mean, he said that he wouldn't watch it again, but he liked it. But, overall, this movie is a 9.7. -1 point. Get it? Got -1. Because the ending and some nitpicks I have with the movie. But that's it. Overall, the movie is an amazing film. Watch it December 1st. It's literally tomorrow. And this is a spoiler review. I should have mentioned that in the beginning. That was a bad idea. But yeah. Hopefully you guys love the movie as much as I do. Stay safe. I don't know why I'm saying that. But make sure Godzilla doesn't assault you in an alleyway. I don't know. But so that's it for this video, this review, this spoiler review. I'm gonna mention it in the title. I'll make sure to, yeah. And yeah. Sorry for the lazy review. Couldn't really think of anything to do. Maybe later on in the 2024, I'll do a full on edited with Domzilla review of Godzilla minus one. Yeah, and overall 9.7 out of 10. And do good on your next math test. I don't know why I mentioned it. It's because Godzilla minus one. You know, it's a numbers. Like I wanted to mention math. Okay, never mind. See you guys. See you next time. And stay safe, my amphibians. I don't know.